waa qaybtii labaad ee barnaamijka soo dhaweynta maxamuud nuur ee lagu qabtay Bryan Court Community Center. Spank Moss oo isagu ah nin African American ah isla markaasna ku xeel dheer siyaabaha dhalinyarada ama carruurtu ay ugu dhacaan boholaha ayaa wuxuu la wadaagay waalidka tafaasiil aad u dheer iyo jaantuska la xidhiidha dhibaatooyinka ay keenayaan markii waalidku aanay la socon ilmuhu halka ay aadayaan. Spank ayaa isagu si dhab ah u taabtay siyaabaha ay dhibaatada u timaado iyo qaabka looga hortagi karo isla markaasna waalidka Soomaaliyeed ku booriyey in ay ilaa ay arrintaa taxadar gaara siiyaan. Waa kan hadalladii uu Spank
as young as 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 11 years old. And we've yet to put together any effort to slow it down or stop it. One of the things that I think is important for the Somali community as well as the African American community, we're going to have to bring forth the legislation about guns in this state. The broader community is not going to do that. We're going to have to do that. You see, a gun runner can go to any gun show and he can buy as many guns as he wants. He doesn't have to tell anybody any of his business. He doesn't have to tell anybody where he's going, and he can sell them to our children all day, every day. And as they talk about these assault weapons and never talk about these pistols being sold in the inner cities, that's at the root of how we're suffering and dying. To give you a closer look, a year ago in Chicago, Illinois, they killed almost 600 people, but they shot over 2,000. And everything that goes on in Chicago will go on in Minnesota, everything. Our biggest threat that is facing us now is not just gangs. It's the fact that the Mexican mafia is on the ground, they are in Minnesota, and they will do the same thing here that they do in Chicago, Illinois. So you have to ready yourself and ready your families and your children to try our best to overcome what is about to happen to the Twin Cities in a very short period of time. One of the things that they're showing you now in Chicago is the murders almost every day. They showed us in less than 2 months ago, on one day they shot 23 people. They showed us on Memorial Day, they shot 40-some people in a 72-hour period. There is nothing goes on there that won't go on here. Take that issue serious. It's our #1 problem, all the way down to 10 years old.
Thank you, Spank Moss, for your wise words.
I welcome you and thank you for allowing me to speak. One piece to follow that, and I want to use these words and this opportunity to express the fact that it's about what we can do as a community. It's about what you can do at Ann Sullivan as a parent, as a volunteer, whatever it can take for us, again, to link arms and to make sure that we provide the very best for the community and for our children. Great opportunity in this zone with what we have currently in place and the direction that we're going from the superintendent to Stephen Fliss leadership to welcome Director Noor on the school board. So it's a great opportunity for us. And again, it's about what we can do for our children. We link arms and provide the very best. Get involved with your children's education. Come to school. Walk, sit in the classrooms, and be part of a wonderful community. So again, I want to welcome you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And Director Noor, congratulations. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, parents, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As a parent of Minneapolis Public School, it gives me great pleasure to be here tonight to welcome Mr. Mahmoud Noor as the new board member of Minneapolis Public School. I am very happy to welcome all of you to this auspicious event to congratulate Mr. Come here to give a speech tonight, but as parent of Minneapolis Public School, we will support you and work alongside with you as we did with our former colleague. Our expectations are high and expecting you as a parent to work closely with all communities, especially with minority communities who have major problems in education sectors. We hope that you are going to work for the improvement of livelihood of many children. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Olstad. I'm from the Minnesota Council of Churches, and I do our multi-faith work. The Minnesota Council of Churches is very eager to make sure that we have an opportunity to do some Christian and Muslim dialogue work, and we also do a lot of resettlement of refugees. And we're trying to work together to make sure that our children can also understand these different concepts and understand how it is that we can live together as communities. So very eager to work with you all and to be part of this team. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Youth Against Violence, and we've started November 2nd. One of the reasons I've started this was because most of the kids that are dying, I went to school with them. My own cousin was in there. We wanted to stop it. I don't think we can stop it, but with all of us and with the community's help, I think we can at least prevent it and have activities and after-school programs, inshallah, in the future. And I really like Spike Moses, that he's doing things like this. And inshallah, we'll come to you and get information from you.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate you putting us on your agenda. This is a great opportunity for Hodan and I to meet with the Minneapolis directors, the school board directors. This is a very serious condition, the violence in the youth in our community, the guns, everything. And it starts out from that behaviors, those adverse childhood experiences and that trauma, maybe in the home or outside of the home, or just going back to the parents and our struggles through the war in Somalia. I really want to get this opportunity to address, and hopefully you guys will hear from us through email and communication. Our hope is to do something about it, prevent it, whatever is happening, and to bring the attention to the parents. And you all are the parents, your kids are important to you, and I know how much they are important to you, because when I was little and I came to this country as a 9-year-old girl, I didn't know what was what. Now my eyes are open, and it is, you have to start protecting your little kids from this world. Sometimes we are caught between two cultures, the American culture and the Somali culture, and we don't know which way we want to go. So if you leave us in the hands of our friends, and we're gonna go the wrong route. This is a time for you all to make a difference, to talk to your kids, and to make them understand that violence, this is killing our kids. I heard that somebody was shot and killed here. How can that happen in a Somali community? That shouldn't happen. And I want to congratulate Mr. Noor. Welcome. You are the vision of our community. I want to really appreciate you and everybody else for just having the time, because I feel so passionate about this, and this shouldn't be happening. This is America, and we should be free from that. We shouldn't be having whatever happened back home and bringing it back here, and none of that nonsense. This has to stop. Thank you.
I'm really honored to be here to welcome and honor and congratulate my good friend Noor. But before I call Noor to the stage, this is my stage, I would like to welcome and I would like to thank my people who are always standing what's right for the community. Appointed official, I've been appointed by the governor for the Juvenile Justice Advisory Council, and I also been appointed by the City Council for the Neighborhood Community Engagement Commission. And I'm the founder of the Ummah Project, which is building a Muslim Youth and Recreation Center. So there are many hats that I'm wearing, as well as being a new immigrant. Not only that, being a mom who's raising 3 little kids, as well as our new show, FarhiyaShow.com, which is coming very soon. We just released the first episode, which is all talking about parents and family, and mostly what we're trying to empower is women, and that's why where the East African women come in. My friend here, I would want to say that you did a great job by organizing this, and I think it's about time seeing all beautiful faces. And I can see the color of the room is not just Somali, so we have a lot of friends who are honored and sitting in front of us just to come and welcome our new friend, brother, Noor. I would like to welcome my brother to the stage. And I want to say that I would like to congratulate you personally, and I think we have work to do.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah. Thank you all for coming today. I'm deeply honored to be with you tonight as I begin this new journey. It's just the beginning. We have got a long road to cover. As you all know, the state of our education in Minneapolis public schools is in deep trouble. If only 50% of our students graduate from high school, that means we are not doing a good job teaching our students. This is a journey we all need to take. It's not me as a director. It's not only the staff at the district, it's not the principals, it's not the teachers, it's the community, it's the parents, it's all of us working together to make the difference for our future. If we don't bring our efforts together, we will fail, and we will fail, and we will not succeed. The future is within us. Improving the academic achievement for our children will require commitment, political will, deliberate actions, and the alignment of efforts across the educational system and the cultures of schools. Let me state today that I have got 5 key areas that I'll be focused in general. Teacher quality, making sure that we've got excellent teachers who are vested in the interest of teaching our kids to succeed in life. Professionals who are knowledgeable, who effectively meet the academic, cultural, social needs of our students. It's time to hire and retain teachers of colors in Minneapolis public schools. We need to provide the teachers the tools that they need and the support they deserve. They are the leaders for our community. I think it's time to make sure that we have role models for our students. We just talked about gang violence. It's time to have teachers who can become great role models for our students. It's time for our communities to go to the schools and make sure that the kids do not fall from the system and then join gangs. That's the only preventative we can do at the beginning, and let's not wait for the end, let's start at the beginning. Secondly, teaching and learning is absolutely important. Making sure that we have got culture responsive curriculums. Teaching people who they are. Teaching people their background. Teaching people their cultures. Making sure that kids have got a quality early childhood education. That's absolutely critical. We cannot mess up in early childhood education for the interest of few. We cannot be going to childcare centers that fail our kids. We have to make sure that every child, before they join the school, they have the skills needed to succeed in life. Making sure that our children have got access to heritage language and immersion schools that teaches them the world language that they need to succeed. This is a competitive world. If China today exceeds the English learning in America, we're in trouble. We have to catch up with the rest of the world. If UK says today that Arabic is going to be the language that they're going to teach because that's the future, we have to do it here. We have the skills, we have the tools, we have the resources. It's time not to hold back the resources for the sake of not engaging the process. Finally, the computer science. I think everybody has got a computer in their hand, and I can see everybody is using it. It's time to introduce computer science in our high schools and giving the kids the opportunity they deserve in schools, and making sure that they can go to a job without needing the training. They can go to college and learn about science and technology. That is absolutely critical for the future of our children. The third is the leadership of the district. We require leadership from the principals, we require leadership from the board, we require leadership from the community. And we have to make sure that we are committed to high achievement for all students. That intentional guides policies and practices. We cannot have policies where the parents don't know what they are. I will be deeply committed to make sure that if we have policies that impact the students and the parents, they are aware of those policies. We have a responsibility and the community has got a responsibility. Those two things need to be joined together to make sure that we have got an excellent educational system. The fourth, but not the least also, the student support. They really need the support, so social, emotional, intellectual development for a child. You never know how a child has spent the day. Not coming to the school, not knowing what's happening at home, not knowing the issues that they're dealing with, not knowing how they come to school every day, not helping the parents. We talk about wraparound services. It's time to have a collaborative system where the county is responsible, where the city is responsible, where the state is responsible. It's not only upon the district, it's upon all of us to make sure that collaboration exists across the systems. Finally, the family and community engagement. I'll just pause a little bit there. We talk about family and community engagement. Who here knows how the system works when we talk about family and community engagement? We always talk about that, but where's the realistic system whereby we're engaging each and every community organization that wants to support our kids? We're engaging each and every parent who wants to get involved in our schools. Where is the school welcoming process when we say the schools are not welcoming? The school is ours. It has to welcome us, and we have to tell the teachers they're welcome to teach our students. It's a two-way traffic. Let's take the advantage and make sure that the school system supports the family engagement that is realistic and affordable, and something that we have to put the resource behind it, making sure that it succeeds. It's time for us to have a community-driven system whereby we have a center that helps the newly arrived immigrants, not only dealing at the school, but the after-school program where the community takes that commitment. All of us have got that commitment. Kids who come here and who don't have the background, the educational background, who are they going to depend upon? What will their future look like when you've got a child who's in middle school and high school, they've never learned A, B, or C, they don't have the motor skills even to hold a pen? What will their future look like? There are some who can turn around, but not only at the school, but only if all of us take that commitment and say never again a child will fail in our school system. Never again we're going to sit back and wait for somebody else. It's us, nobody else. Thank you so much for the night. And I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to working with our councilman-elect, Abdi Warsame, and ensuring that we help the community and grow. We work with all the other communities, our African-American brothers, the white, every individual in the community. I look forward to working with all of you. I want to thank my wife, actually, for allowing me to do this. It's a huge sacrifice. Before I forget, and 4 kids, I've got a long-term vested interest in the success of the district. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. Thanks.
We are done. This is the end of the meeting, but the remaining hour, we will divide into meet and greet at your convenience. I would like to thank you all, guest speakers, for coming. It's an honor, and a bill of 1,007 starts with one step, and today we have done the first step. We have 999 to go. So you ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come. So meet and greet, and then